Hello there, this is Rom Wills with the lovely Miss Mocha Angel.
Hey y'all.
We're doing a review of Insecure Season 4, Episode 1, Low-Key Feeling Myself. So let's jump right into it. It starts off interesting, Miss Mocha Angel, with they're showing the empty block party, like the vendors, everything, and it's at night. What else you see there? You can tell us some more about it. You're a technical writer, so you know what's up.
So it starts with a flash forward, like you said, 4 months into the future, right after the block parties ended. And basically, Issa is done with Molly. They are no longer friends. Um,
Mm.
yeah. And then there's a little bit of a television mystery inside of a television show, with a television show kind of like 2020, kind of like Dateline, where the sister has gone missing. So I see that's going to be interwoven into, the next few episodes as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Oh, well, we like offering each other to go ahead. I was gonna say just that statement she made. She's like talking on the phone. It's like, honestly, I don't fuck with Molly anymore. And I mean, that set up the story question. It was like, oh, wait a
Correct.
minute, what's going on? And that's actually some good writing. Whatever
Hmm.
people feel about Issa Rae, she got some really good writing because now people going to be like watching the shows trying to say, well, okay, how did they get to this point?
Correct. And the seeds of that statement were sown in this episode, and like why and how their relationship started to disintegrate.
Exactly, exactly. And y'all know how I do, y'all. I'm always about the relationships in here. So, first they had the scene with Issa talking with Condola about setting up that mixer at her place, you
Hmm.
know, at her apartment and anything. And then they showed Andrew and Molly on a date. What do you think about those two?
Um, I think they make a very cute couple. However, again, the seeds were sown of trouble. So I think they're cute, and I think I'm not sure if he's good for her because they kind of set that up for the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
But Molly, once again, is starting to mess things up already.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, geez, Molly. Yeah, she was kind of getting on my nerves last night.
And you know
Um,
what's interesting? What's
mm-hmm,
interesting though about Molly,
mm-hmm,
because she's this attorney, she's this hot fire attorney, she's at this firm making all this money and stuff, but relationship
mm-hmm,
relationship wise, it's like it's totally jacked up. It's like two different things. Like her, what someone would call a marketing rep
mm-hmm,
would say, yeah, she's presenting this image, but then if you don't see her in her mask,
mm-hmm.
in her marketing rep, and you're just like, wow, she's whack. Like if somebody's never seen the show before, never seen the show, and they see Molly and they're like, oh man, she's just some crazy hood woman. What she do? Oh, she's an attorney. What? So, and one thing I'm gonna tell you what,
Mm-hmm.
I give it to Andrew. That dude's cool. He's just a cool cucumber.
Yes, he is.
Yes, and that's an interesting dynamic. But
Mm-hmm.
then I'm gonna tell you what. They had the sex scene next with Issa and
Mm-hmm.
TSA babe Bay, who we
Mm-hmm.
find out later his name is Connor. What you think about that as a
Mm-hmm.
woman? Would first
Uh,
of all, is
uh.
he select or non-select to you?
That's hard to say. Right now I'd say non-select at the moment. He's got potential.
He's got potential. Oh, okay. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. But I'm gonna
Mhm.
tell you what I saw with it though, right? Because I'm like, okay, she started out with Lawrence, basically a
Mhm.
masked man. He got he tall, he got some stuff going for him and
Mhm.
everything. And plus he got that job now and everything. And then
Right.
of course she cheated with him with Daniel. But
Right.
it's like her stuff's going down, came up, dealt with another good bar, Nathan. Now she's with this guy who the sex is she dealing with him, but you could tell the sex was like, okay, they ain't
Yeah.
quite find the spot yet.
No, he's a booty call.
Yeah. And I mean, it's interesting. It'd be interesting if they do a backstory how they even met, you know?
No, it's not. No, I wouldn't. No,
But you don't even care.
He's a booty call. He likes her. Clearly, he's in her corner. He's a cheerleader, but it's just sex, and they both know that, and that's okay.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Fine. Fine. Now, what you think of what did you think about the next scene where Issa finds out that Condola is dating Lawrence? What's your view on that?
Oh my gosh. So again, this ties into why Issa and Molly, aren't friends anymore 4 months later. That's the beginning of it. What I thought was rut-row. That's what I thought. And, that was a big part of the whole episode. These two women really genuinely like each other. They genuinely get along. Condola's a great mentor to Issa. And to find out that they both, that Condola's now dating Lawrence, I felt for both of them, and it's awkward as hell. That's what I thought.
Yeah, and that was interesting because it's like, oh yeah, we're great, we know each other, we clicking, but
Yep.
we have a man there because in common, because Condola went to Lawrence's apartment and she was clearly upset, and Lawrence was actually kind of cool about it,
Yeah.
He was kind of cool. It's Condola like, I don't want to deal with it. Yeah, but and it's like, some other stuff. See, we ain't gonna tell y'all everything. Y'all gonna have to watch it. But the main theme of that episode was them setting up that mixer at Issa's apartment complex. And oh my God, they had to have her. What's her gay brother's name again?
I don't know.
Interesting, but they had to have tacky ass Trina.
Right.
Trina was showing interest in dude. That was funny. And Issa was like, well, he's gay. And Trina's like, that don't matter, because she was there with her son. His father is gay.
Right.
Like, what the hell?
She was a trip.
And she come down with a couple dresses. Is he a breast man or a leg man? And the dude walk by and say breast. And she's like, oh, okay. They always breast. I'm like, oh my God. And the relation dynamic there is you get some women, they just don't care. It's like dude got a pulse, hey, he's good to go.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and then we get the party, and we had Kelly, and she was, I don't know how Kelly was offered $5,000 by this rich white guy to sleep with her. And she was totally down for it too.
Yeah, I think she did it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So and it was interesting with like how Issa was working the party. It was kind of like she's kind of like so at first. I mean, what did you think about all of that?
Yeah, she's learning. She's learning. I mean, and it was awkward because Condola was there, and you could tell just how tense it was between the two of them. And so Condola worked one side of the room, Issa worked one side of the room. And the thing about it is, that's the point. That's why Condola's in her life, is to help her do these things and to mix with people and learn how to fundraise and be more savvy about it.
Oh, okay.
So in the end, she did get there because her brother, played an inappropriate song at the party. Highly inappropriate. And this is not that kind of party. This is not a block party. This was more but it was more professional. And she's trying to raise money for her event. So she got it together right then and there. Right then and there. Yeah, she made a very impassioned speech, and it worked. And so people started donating money right there.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you what, that was kind of a good thing. But then, even at the party, you got all this side stuff. Trina had to jump in there again. She's just a mess. It'd be interesting if they do like show a little bit more of her backstory or something, because she's good comic relief. And then they got another guy they brought in, Dante. He lived there too. He complained about a parking spot, and he was like, found out he don't even have a car. So they probably got a set of characters at that apartment complex.
Right.
Yeah, but then, you still got the thing with Molly and Andrew, because, okay, they drive into the event, And he just casually says, "Oh yeah, I'm dating." He going out with somebody else on that Friday.
Right.
And that really messed with Molly's head. And then he was like, "Well, I assumed you going out with other people too." And she was just funky with him the whole party. She was funky with him. So what was up from that, from your point of view?
So she just didn't want to say how much she liked him. So she played like, "Oh, I'm dating other people too," when she's not, because she was hoping that they were exclusive. And they're not. So she wasn't happy.
I know, and that's the interesting thing. That really is the interesting thing with them, because if you really look at Molly, it's once again that mask. She tries on one hand to be this big tough woman, but she really wants love. I mean, that's the whole thing. She wants love. So she met this guy she clicked with, but she found out the guy ain't jumping on her. But if you look at it, they just really beginning. I mean, they can't just start off right away, and that's a normal thing. They've never had that conversation where they say we're exclusive. So it's like Molly's having that the kind of like that lockdown thing. And see, that's the interesting thing, because I've talked to you before about the whole octane model thing. And she's a 92 octane, which means she's a professional woman and stuff, but often with 92 octanes, and you've seen them yourself, dear. You've seen them yourself. On one hand, corporate, tough, but then on the other hand, it's like insecure. She was dealing with Big Value, I'll Be Sure last year. Well, a couple years ago, when season 3, and he's married and stuff. And, it's like, it seemed like she always gets with the wrong person. And then even though the guy's Asian, bae, it seemed pretty cool, genuinely interested, because even at the party, she told him he basically had to find another way home. And he was still cool. He didn't show any real emotion, sad. He said, okay. And, that's cool. But then I'm going to tell you what. Then when it was just Molly and Issa by themselves, you saw the beginning of the story question that was presented at the beginning. You were like, oh, wow. I mean, what was your take on just their conversation?
So Molly found out that Condola was dating Issa. Sorry. Condola was dating. Molly was dating
That's Lauren. Like an interesting series then. That's where they jumped the shark.
Sorry. All right, she found out that Condola is dating Lauren. Sorry. Okay, so when she found out, she gave Issa a hard time. So I'm paraphrasing her, what she said to Issa was, are you going to keep working with Condola? She's like, yeah, I am. And Molly said, I think you like that shit. Meaning, I think you like drama. I think you just can't keep yourself from these, these difficult, complicated, dramatic situations that you keep finding yourself in. And that was it right there. And Issa was like, what? She was offended by that comment. But let me go back to 1 second, because we missed something important. Right after the scene where, the flash forward scene where you see they're not friends anymore, they were doing yoga and smoking weed at Issa's house.
Okay.
That was at the beginning. And Molly said, she was, getting rid of things in her life that didn't work for her anymore, didn't serve her anymore. So that was kind of the other setup too. Wow. Yeah, so we skipped over that. So, she was like, I don't want to get rid of Andrew. If he doesn't serve me, I want to get rid of him. And she's saying to Issa, this situation doesn't serve you. You need to get rid of it. That's what she was really saying, like underneath it all. However, Molly's view of life can be very black and white. So like you said, she's a brilliant woman, she's a professional woman, but her relationships with men and with women are not the best. Because even at work, she has a hard time getting along with people even at work.
Yeah.
So she just has a lot of trouble. She's very black and white. She just wants everything to just work out without kind of putting the emotional work it takes to make all of your interpersonal relationships work. They don't just work by magic.
Yeah,
and
true.
She's incapable of doing that.
Mm. And that should be something to really pay attention to during this season, because that's something that's been with her the whole time. That's something that's been with her the whole time, and now it's really going to pick up, because you notice, like, when we get back to the end, when they were both taking out the trash and they walked past each other, it's like you felt the tension just right there.
Yes.
Like, it was different. Like, they've argued before and whatever, but this is like, wait a minute, this is different. This is different. And one of the things, and I think we'll see this as the season goes on. Think about it. All the time that Issa has dealt with Molly, she's been kind of just all over the place, kind of goofy, right? Not really giving direction. Yeah, they will party together and cool and everything, but it seemed to be stuck on that level. Issa was just flowing. All of a sudden, she's dealing with Condola, despite that Condola, goes over Lawrence's house and they have sex. A lot better sex than TSA Bay and Issa. But think about the thing with Condola, and this is an interesting dynamic. Despite that, Condola's taking her to another level. Condola is actually kind of mentoring her, showing her, look, this is how you do it.
Correct.
And being there for her and just being straight up with her, and it's not on some bullshit. It's like making some money, but then what'll probably happen, we'll see, they'll become like friends on a deeper level, despite Lawrence.
I hope so.
Now, certain writers, they'll make it say, hey, Condola and Issa go over to the place with Lawrence. That's another shark jumping incident. If they get to that point, it's like, what? Can't do it, Insecure anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting because, and just like, the thing is, why I would even do these reviews, you see these relationships and these dynamics play out in the real world. That's one thing I like about Issa Rae's writing and why her stuff is so popular. People can relate to this on one angle, and she also deals with the class thing, because you think about it, Issa and Condola are different classes, because Condola is really in Tiffany's crowd.
Yes.
That's true. And Tiffany is more, she's more upper middle class naturally.
Tiffany. Yes.
Yeah, and I think they both AKAs. Those darn AKAs. I don't know about them.
Whatever, Rom. Whatever. Anyway, next.
Yeah, next. So overall, what did you think about the episode? Just overall.
So overall, the more I thought about it, the more I liked it. At first, I was like, So can I say a couple things about it?
Yes, yeah.
So last season, so last season, I don't know if your viewers or listeners remember, I said what I wanted to see from Issa was growth. That's what I said. And she did a little bit. She did. So what I saw it in this episode, I saw it right here, is like you saw a sister trying to make some moves, make her vision come true, improve her neighborhood, promote Black business and all the talent within it. That's basically what she said in her speech. I was like, okay, all right. I thought, and I said this to you before off camera, that Issa Rae, the multi-hyphenate talent, does a lot for her community. She might even still live in Inglewood. I know Tiffany Haddish does, and I think Issa Rae does too, I think. Okay, I could be wrong. Somebody correct me on that if I'm wrong. But she is still very much involved in her community. So I see her character of Issa D, trying to also be that on a smaller level. So that's where I think all this is coming from Issa Rae's larger work in the Black community. That was number one. Number two, I agree with you about Condola and Issa. Like Condola's trying to take Issa to another level.
Yeah.
And Molly is there, professionally and financially, but Molly's not there emotionally. And, I'm hoping, and I hope to God, of course it's awkward for these two women to now be working together. And, you saw it in the preview for the next episode. And it is hard. And so I understand what Molly's saying. At the same time, it's like, that's the question. What do you do? I got this sister that I like. She's cool. And damn, she's dating my ex. Ugh. And that's tough. It's not that it's not tough, but I felt Molly was being really judgmental of Issa.
Yeah.
And overall, I did think it was a good episode. The more I kind of thought about it. So
Mhm.
that was my
Okay.
take on it.
Oh, okay. And yeah, it was. And and that's one thing we gotta give it. Like people have different thoughts about Issa Rae.
Yes.
But if you think about it, yeah, she has it, but she throws out a lot of comments and ideas within the context of her show.
Right.
Supporting black business, doing something for the neighborhood, right? And
Yeah.
it'd be like nice and it'd be small, quick, but it's like, oh, okay. And if you think about it, what does she always do in her seasons? They always go by actual businesses in LA.
Yes,
They
because
actually
yes,
do that, and that's very important because if true entertainment shouldn't be, especially from the black community, shouldn't just be about some of the dumb stuff that you got out there now.
correct.
Entertainment should be, yes, we entertain you, but we also educating you. So I was like, yeah, that's another reason, the relationship dynamics, but also the just political things that could be said within the show. And
I
that's
agree.
that's important. We need to support shows like that. Because if it was just some dumb stuff or just some
Mhm.
crazy stuff, shoot 'em up stuff, just pure sex stuff, we both be doing something else right now instead of recording this. You
Yeah.
know, we be shoot. I'll still be asleep or something. Nah, I get up too early. So anyway, all right, so that was a good episode. So, for people listening, we're going to keep up with it. Pay attention to those story angles, to the story question. And,
Hmm.
even though she's dealing with TSA Bay,
Hmm.
Nathan's still lurking in the background. So that should be an interesting story dynamic that comes up.
Yes.
And then there's Condola and Lawrence. So far, this has been the most functional relationship we've seen them in the whole series.
Agree.
So that should be something. And then at some point, Issa has to see the two of them together. In fact, I've seen that in previews, I think in the trailer. So
Hmm.
it's like, okay, you had this man, he's on such a level now, but you might have gave him up for Daniel. And I think I saw in the trailer Daniel will be jumping back into it, so it should be interesting all the way around. Because
Okay.
then Issa is going to be dealing with multiple relationships because, TSA Bay, yeah, it's just a booty call and stuff, but how's she going to respond if Nathan or even Daniel jump back into the picture? And then she still got to look at Lawrence with this other woman who she's being cool with. So it's like, wow, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah.
And I ain't worried about Andrew and Molly. Andrew going to get with her. Come on now, this is Molly. So
Agreed.
yeah. So, well, anyway, you have any closing statements, or you good now?
I'm pretty good. I just want to just take 2 seconds to say something to HBO about props. And I know this is like coming out of nowhere, but Amanda Seales, who plays Tiffany, is pregnant. And it was so distracting. I see her belly and I'm like, this woman is not pregnant. That is like the fakest belly bump I have ever seen. And I was like, HBO, y'all got a lot of money. So please put more effort into the props and make this woman look pregnant because it was like, have you seen Tyler Perry's The Fall from Grace? Have you seen
No, I haven't
that?
seen it yet.
Child, look, the wigs. Okay, that's what it made me think of. The wigs that these people is wearing in that movie is very distracting.
Mm.
Okay. I mean, it looks like he just had somebody just buy a bunch of wigs from Sally's Beauty Supply because it's bad. Okay. And that's what I was thinking when I saw Tiffany's belly bump. I was like, oh, please, come on now, spend the money. So anyway, that was just my little side note. But overall, I did think it was a good episode, and you want to see why Issa and Molly's relationship falls apart.
Yes.
So I do want to see it next week.
Okay then. All right. So that's it for our review today. Tune in to us next Monday for another review of Insecure Season 4. So y'all know how we do. Y'all keep rising and transforming. Peace and blessings.
Peace. Bye, y'all.